Hello friends, in the previous video we learned about some most commonly used string methods. Now in this video we are gonna continue learning some more string methods which are also very popular. So let's see the first method. The first method it starts with. So this method returns true if the string starts with the specified value. So let's flip to Jupyter notebook and let's see that. Okay, so in our previous video, we had done till this point. We had executed this cell. Now let's take this string only. Let's check this string once again. And let's apply the starts with method on this string. So we have to be careful about the cases of the method because I have already mentioned that Python is case sensitive. So even if the case of at least one character is wrong, then the method is not gonna work. So the cases of all the letters are small. Okay. So starts with. So let's check whether this string starts with the substring Python or not. Result equal to s dot starts with. So this starts with method will check whether the string s starts with the substring Python or not. If it actually starts with the substring Python, then it will return true and the variable result will contain output of this starts with method. So if it returns true, the variable result will contain true, otherwise it will contain false. So let's print the variable result and let's run the cell. Yes, we get true because this string is actually starts with the substring Python. Now let's try the same thing with some other substring. Okay, let's take this substring Python is a, and let's see whether it gives true or false. Let's run the cell and it again gives true. This substring Python is right at the beginning of this string s, so it returns true. Now again let's take some other substring and check whether that returns true or false. Let's check this substring is a. Let's see whether that returns true or false. Let's run the cell and it returns false. Why that returns false? Because the string s does not start with the substring is a, because before this character I we already have this many characters. We already have a word Python and a blank space. So the string s does not start with the phrase or the substring is a. That's why it returns false. Fine. Now let's move to the slide and let's see what the next method is. Similar to the method starts with, there is another method ends with, which returns true if the string ends with the specified value. Let's look at a practical example of this method as well. Okay. Again we take this and this time the method will be ends with, and let's check whether this string ends with is a language, comma, whether it ends with is a language, comma, and run the cell. Yes, it returns true because the string s actually ends with the substring is a language, comma. And let's check it with another substring. Let's check it with another substring. Let the substring now be C# is a language, comma. That should also return us true, right? That should also return as true. Let's run the cell and we get true. Now let's do one thing. Let's remove the comma from this substring and let's see whether that returns true or false. Let's run the cell and that returns false because the string s does not end with this substring. We have a comma at the end of this string which is not specified in this substring. That's why the endswith method returns false. Fine guys, the concept of starts with and ends with is clear to you, I suppose. Now let's move on to the next method. Okay, so the next method is count. So what this method does, it returns the number of times a specified value occurs in a string. Okay, let's again flip to Jupyter Notebook. Okay, let's take a sentence. Necessity is the mother of invention. So it is a very popular quote, right? It's a very popular proverb. Now what I want to do, I want to count the number of occurrences of the phrase the or the substring the in this sentence. So how I can do that? I will use the count method for that. Sentence dot count the print. Okay, now we run the cell and we get the count 2. Now you may wonder why it is giving 2. We are trying to count the occurrences of the, but we only have one the in the sentence. But if you look carefully, there are actually two the substrings in the sentence. One is this word, this article the, and the other the is existing within the word mother, the, within the word mother. So that's why Python says that the substring the occurs 2 times or twice within this sentence, and rightly so, actually occurs twice in the sentence. So I think you have understood what the count method actually returns. Let's move on to the next method. So what is the next method? The next method is swapcase. So what it actually does, it just swaps the case of each character. So if the character, if a particular character in a string is in uppercase, it makes it lowercase, and if a character is in lowercase, it makes it reverse, that is, it makes it uppercase. So let's see that in action. So let's take this sentence only and let's apply the swapcase method on it. And enclose it inside the print statement as we always do. Okay, and let's print the output. Okay, so we can see that the case of all the characters has been swapped. That is, the characters which were earlier in lowercase have been converted to uppercase, and the characters which were earlier in uppercase have been converted to lowercase. So that's what swapcase does. Now what is the next method? The next method is isnumeric. It returns true if all characters of the string are numeric. So let's see that in action once again. Okay, let's have a string str1. Let's assign this value 1 2 3 4 5 to it. Now let's apply the isNumeric method on the string and let's see whether it returns true or false. Let's run the cell and it returns true. So when does the isnumeric method return true? The isnumeric method returns true when all the characters of a string lies between 0 to 9. That is, all the characters of a string are digits. That's when the isnumeric method returns true. If any of the characters of a string does not lie between 0 to 9, then it will return false. So let's verify that with another string. Let's have another string str2 and let's have plus 1 2 3 4 5. Let's have another string str3 and let's assign a value minus 1 2 3 4 5. Let's have another string str4 and assign a value double star 1 2 3 4 5 and the string with the value two 200.58. Now let's try to check with all the strings whether the isnumeric method when applied on each of them, whether they return true or false. Okay, let's copy it from here, paste it here, again paste it, paste it. Okay, now make it str2, str3, 4 and 5. Fine guys, now let's run the cell and let's see what the output is. So for all of these strings str2, str3, str4 and str5, the output is false. So if any of the characters of a string is not lying between 0 and 9, the isnumeric method will return false for that string. So this plus, this is a character which is not lying between 0 and 9, 0 and 9. That is, it is not a digit. The plus character is not a digit. That's why it has returned false. The minus character is again not a digit. That's why it has returned false. The star or the asterisk character is again not a digit. That's why this str4 string has returned false. And now you may ask me, here we don't have any special character, right? We only have digits and we have a decimal point. Now this decimal point is also not treated as a digit, right? That's why this str5 variable, the isnumeric method when applied on the str5 string, that also returns false because the decimal point also is not considered as a digit. Fine. Now let's move on to the next method, isalpha. Okay, what does this method do? This returns true if all characters in the string are alphabets. So let's look at a practical example of that. Okay, let's have a string. Let's have this string. Necessity is the mother of invention. Okay. Now let's check whether the isalpha method when applied on this string, whether that returns true or false. Let's run the cell and we get false. Now you may ask me, we are having all the characters as alphabets, so all the characters are alphabets in this string. Actually, all the characters are not alphabets. If you look at this carefully, we have blank spaces in between the words, right? So the blank spaces are obviously not alphabets. That's why this method returns false. Now, if we just change the string a bit, if we just remove the blank spaces between the words, let's remove the blank spaces. and let's run it again. And this time we get true. Because the blank spaces have been removed and now all the characters in the string are alphabets only, that's why we get true. The case of the alphabets can be either uppercase or lowercase, that does not matter, they just have to be alphabets. Then this method will return true. Okay, now let's move on to the next method. Okay, the next method is alnum. So it is kind of a combination of the two previous methods that we have discussed. If each of the characters of a string is either a digit or an alphabet, then this isAlnum method returns true. So let's see that in action. Okay, let's have a string. Let's have 3 or 4 different strings. First string we have is ABCD. Second string we have is 1, 2, 3. Third string we have is, okay, let's give them different names, S1, S2. The third string that we have is ABCD 1, 2, 3. The fourth string that we have is 1, 2, 3.456. The fifth string we have is 1, 2, 3 space 4, 5, 6. Okay, now let's check, let's apply the isAlnum method on each of them and let's check what they return. Print s1 dot isAlnum, copy it and paste it here, paste it again, paste it. Okay, let's change the name to S2, S3, S4 and S5. Now let's run the cell and let's look at the output of each of these strings. Okay, now for the first 3 strings we get true and for the last 2 strings we get false. So why so? So let's have a discussion. Okay, for S1 the string is ABCD, so each of the characters is an alphabet, right? So what was our condition for this method to return true? The characters have to be either digit or alphabet. So as all the characters are alphabets, so that condition is satisfied. That's why this method, when applied on the string S1, returns true. Next, what we have 1, 2, 3. So in this string all the characters are digits, so again the condition gets satisfied and that's why boolean value true is returned for S2. For S3 we have a combination of alphabets and digits. ABCD are alphabets and 1, 2, 3 are digits. So for this again the value is returned true as the condition of isAlnum gets satisfied. Now for the string S4 we have 1, 2, 3.456. Now we have 6 digits, right? 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, but we also have a floating point. So is a floating point either an alphabet or a digit? No, a floating point is neither an alphabet nor a digit. So this returns false. Again, for the string S5 we have 1, 2, 3 space 4, 5, 6. Again the blank space is neither a digit nor an alphabet. So for this string also we get false. So I think you have understood the concept of this isAlnum method. So it returns true only when all the characters of a string is either a digit or an alphabet. Clear? Now move on to the next method. Okay, so there is isspace. It returns true if all characters in the string are white space. So it is very easy to understand, right? Right from the name or the description, you can understand that. If let's take a string and all the characters of this string will be blank spaces, space, 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 space. So this string will obviously return true when the isspace method is applied on it, right? Let's print it. And we get true. Now let's take another string, space, space, 1 2 3 space, space. So what will it return? Yes, you have guessed it right. It will return false because all the characters of this string are not blank spaces. Apart from blank spaces, we have digits in this string. That's why it will return false. Let's run this cell and yes, it returns false. So friends, that's it for this video. I have given you some exercise problems. Please try to solve all of these problems, and you may face some difficulty while solving some of these problems, and that is completely normal. Just let me know which are the problems that you are stuck with, and I will come up with the solution of those problems. If you have liked my video, please subscribe to my channel so that you get notified when I'll upload more Python and data science related videos. And please don't forget to share and like my video so that it reaches a larger audience and they also get benefited from it. Thanks a lot for watching.